What it do? It's your boy Phase by Jew. I got my guy Brad with me today.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing today?
Very special guest, if you ask me. I like to tell people how long my clients have been in the chair, so go ahead and tell people how long you've been rocking with me.
I believe I got here in July 2016. I think right around probably November, I would say 2016.
Brad is representing H-Town.
Acres Homes to be exact. Antoinette Golf Bank.
Hey, let them know. You got to be like a fly on the wall.
I did. I was in the music industry for a while. My brother and my cousin are both multi-platinum music producers. Do they still do music now? Not as much. They're a little older. They still, they still get the residuals. They still get their credit for stuff. But from music, from most of Mike Jones, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, some T.I. stuff, Lil Flip, I can do that. My cousin is Willow, if you ever want to know when he says, I like that Willow.
Okay.
That's my cousin, Willie Malone. You kind of name Houston, they've kind of touched a lot of it. At the time, I was a lot of what they went through. I showed up, I went to college at University of Houston, 1999. I arrived August. Grew up in Houston, left for a little bit, came home. And so I got to see, a lot of the stuff that they got to do. I got to travel. I got to do a lot of different things. And our label that we had was Game Face. So if you know Game Face Entertainment, that was the home of Lil O. So
Man, we love Lil O.
So if you know Back, we produced that.
Hey.
We did that album, The Fat Red with the Cheese, all the other albums he made before he finally left. I'm in the Back video. I'm in some stuff like that.
That bag.
Give me
What?
50
Give me 50 feet. What?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to play that.
Yeah. Another artist that we had, rest in peace to him, Big Hawk.
Big Hawk.
So SUC,
Yeah.
original.
Original screwed up Clicksters.
Yeah, Fat Pat's brother. Died too young.
Yeah.
Great man, died too young. Left a wife and child. But,
I have a whole theory
Yeah.
that Fat Pat is one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Oh.
So many samples that came from Fat Pat. The isms, the lingo, coming down, hold up, like
Yeah, I would agree. And I would say Scarface agrees.
Scarface.
So if you ever hear My Block, he gives his homage by saying every hood has their Fat Pat and their Tupac. So for him to say those two in the same sentence tells you a lot. And truly, Fat Pat's one of the greats.
One of the greats.
He just was young.
Hands down.
Passed away way too young, but he has the greatest hits. And I mean, hell, you could listen to the DEA albums, which were amazing. Fat Pat stuff was amazing. And the thing about his brother is, Hawk is just as big.
Yes.
Another one that died way too young, but he finally got his flowers from Travis Scott.
Yes.
He used that sample, and that is Hawk. He did that, and they were like, "Hey, we gotta give him his. We're gonna use his sample." And that good thing about that is his wife and his child was able to get some money off of that writing credit.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about that? Being somebody who knew Hawk personally, like we said, being a fly on the wall, so actually seeing him get his flowers, how did that make you feel?
It was interesting at first because I was like, I didn't. It's not something I expected to happen because you gotta realize when he passed. I mean, Travis Scott had to be
Little.
Really little. And then the music he did, he had to be really little. Yeah. So, but there was an influence there through a lot of stuff. And one group in particular is the Grit Boys, which is Ghetto Reality in Texas. It's a group that we had, and they had, if you ever look up their album, the Ghetto Reality in Texas album that came through No Better Records, it is an amazing album. They got thumbs up, everything you can get. All your mics and all that.
Yeah.
But it got stuck in this weird money thing with TVT. It's when TVT folded. So TVT, that's Lil Jon, etc.
Yeah.
They were on that label. That was like a group that was kind of under Hawk, that Hawk was mentoring and all that. And I didn't know how they would react, and they reacted they were so happy. Just because he was somebody that died young.
Yeah.
And someone that was influential. And he finally kind of got to get that national recognition that he didn't get because one, you're from the South. Two, you're from Houston. Mm-hmm. Three, it takes a lot to get out. You know, it's weird. It's like you had the Slim Thugs got out, the Paul Wall, the Mike Jones, and mind you, I'm friends with all of them. The SUC guys, a lot of them, it took a while to get out, but they built with these guys, and then you know the music kind of died off.
Yeah.
And Travis Scott kind of jumped back in there. And now you got, you know, the top Don Tollivers and the others, you know, Sauce Walka and all them doing their thing.
Shout out Sauce.
And so all this music and all their style still comes from what the SUC did.
Yes.
You had the people that were, you know, you had South Side and North Side. And so you had SUC Swisher House. You know, if you're from Houston, you know SUC was South Side, Swisher House was North Side. What's interesting is I grew up in Acres Homes, Antoine Gulf Bank. That's the North Side.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was first getting going, it was still more SUC. So Screw was still alive, getting Screw tapes. Like I tell people, at one point in time, I had one of the biggest original Screw tape collections in the world. I had over 250 tapes, actual real tapes. We still have them. Hopefully, it's still good. They're in my parents' house right now.
250 original Screw tapes. Yeah. Boys don't even know what that even means.
Yeah, it's like, and so when I say that, not a CD, not anything. It was a gray 100-minute tape. A gray 100-minute tape. People were like 100 minutes. Yeah, Screw, when he did a mix, they were 100 minutes long.
Wow.
And with a certain style, he wrote it on there. And the cool thing about Screw, a lot of these tapes, he did mixes and he did stuff like that, and they were named after certain things.
Yep. Like Wineberry over
gold. And that's named after a car. You color your car, and you know, Wineberry being red, being that is a Southside color.
Yeah.
In Houston. Some of the tapes were based off of people's birthdays.
Okay.
Or if you went in, like June 27th was celebrating someone's birthday.
Oh.
And so that was a birthday freestyle and became a big tape.
Okay.
But like you could go to his house and make a mix and he'd do a custom mix with you, and if he liked it, he might put it out. Or you could go and say, hey, I want this done. You paid and you got your own tape from him, like going to Screw's house.
Did you ever get to pull up on Screw?
I was younger. I didn't get to pull up on him. Now, many events I was there. So I was too young as in getting the tape. My brother used to get a lot of the tapes too. My brother's older than me by about 5 years and was more into that aspect of it, of getting actually at the time frame when it wasn't as big.
Yeah.
It was big for the city, but it was like easier to get to.
Yeah, it's the homie. I'm at just grab a tape.
But yeah, we got to do a lot of things with Screw as time went on. I'll give you a little story of how the song Man came back.
Oh, yeah. Tell me that one, because I love that song. We're going to have to play that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Man, if that is, at the time, Woe was big.
Yes.
So Woe was New York.
By Black Rob.
Correct. And, Man is ESG and all of them.
Big Pokey.
Yeah, and so...
Bar Baby.
Yeah. How it happened at the time, there was a club in Houston called Hustletown. So Hustletown at the time was owned by South Park Mexican, or SPM, who is now in jail. He's been in jail for a long time. It is what it is. But at the point in time, South Park Mexican was huge. He had one of the biggest music deals in the industry. I think he got like $30 million from Universal. Sheesh. Right before he went to jail. But one night, we were at the Club Hustletown. We were all upstairs on the top of the roof. The VIP was, Screw was there, ESG was there, all of them that there, they were playing Whoa. And out the blue, them boys just started rapping and saying Man. And they just started going off the head. And they just were doing that, and it turned into, hey, and ended up later on making a song out of it. And
so they left the club and immediately
they did something. They could have
studio.
Something. They did something. That's how the song, at least that's how I remember it going down. I remember being there as it occurred. There could be a whole different story on the truth of that, but being at Hustletown, I watched it in action.
So you got to watch them just freestyle, having a good time.
Yep.
And then next thing you know,
the song
is dropped.
To see, we're all older guys now, a lot of us, and I still was, I'm just a guy that I got to travel with Lil O, and some days I was security, Some days I'm just there,
Yeah.
but wherever I was needed, and I have to see a lot of stuff. And
Now, am I tripping? No, I'm thinking of a young star. Lil O has a song with Beyonce.
so yes, so he actually has a song with Destiny's Child.
Oh, okay.
Before they were called Destiny's Child, if I'm correct. It was like one of their first singles. Youngster. The funny thing about Youngster is he wasn't known as a writer. A lot of stuff he did was just freestyles. Pretty much everything he did was freestyles. Still talented. Lil Flip is still considered the freestyle king.
Yeah.
Now, you got people like ESG that says, I'm the better freestyle rapper, back in the day at least.
And you know what? I could give it to ESG. Mm-hmm. Straight up.
And if I'll put it like this. If you haven't heard the Sail in the South album, ESG's first album, that is one of the absolute best albums that was put out. And so a little story on ESG, just how he's affiliated through my family, is a lot of these guys, they were street guys, but they did go to college for even if it was a minute. Mm-hmm. They went to college, they're intellectual, they're smart guys, man. They're actually smart and they're good dudes. ESG was my cousin Sean Papillon, or Pap. He was like his roommate in college for a hot second. Oh, wow. And so I used to go to my auntie's house a lot. And that Sail in the South has a cover of this real nice vehicle, old school slab. That was a slab from this guy down the street in Lake Charles, Louisiana, in Fisherville, in the hood where my cousin and them lived. But that album, that Sail in the South album, that Swangin' and Bangin', that is still a classic and still a thing that is celebrated in Houston every weekend. You go down to the South Side, you still take their rides out and they're gonna still swang. And that happens every weekend.
Every Sunday, huh?
Yep. One guy in particular, he's a legend. He always will be a legend. It's Bun B. Yes. And I would tell everybody, Bun is always, you see Bun now as the guy who teaches at Rice University, that has Trill Burgers, that's doing a lot of things, but he's always been a cool dude. Yeah. Like, and one story I can always tell people and my mom would always tell people, we were at the Galleria Mall in Houston, which is the biggest mall in the city, doing your Christmas shopping, and Bun is there. He sees us and he comes up and he's talking, but as soon as my mom walks up, he makes sure to take his hat off. And he makes sure that, that she's respected, which I think is dope, because I don't necessarily see that from most, young people, anything, but he made sure to understand that this lady is important. Yes. That I need to stop what I'm doing and make sure I take my hat off and make sure I say, hello, ma'am, how are you doing? And be respectful. Yeah, and for my mom, she didn't grow up in this industry or nothing like that. So for her, she's like, who is that? And you're like, yeah, this dude right here is gigantic. Multi-platinum selling artist. Yeah, he's gigantic, but this is how he treats you. And I think that's amazing. And parts of things that we got to do beyond that is, and how we got to go international with stuff that we did. In England, you got grime, you got drill, you got this, you got that. But at the point in time, there was garage, which is the father to me of drill and grime and all this other stuff. And he's still huge, but he's up in age now too, but he still gets awards, is Dizzy Rascal. Yeah. Mercury Award winner, a lot of other equivalents of our Grammy. Just he's a big deal, and he would fly into Houston to do music with us. Oh, wow. His biggest thing is he always wanted to hang out and see the Houston culture, because it's something different than what they have in London. And then
shout out to London. I got cousins across the pond.
Yeah, and what was it, about 2003, 2002, somewhere around there? I got to, my brother and I got to fly out to London. Just got to go out there, hang with Dizzy Rascal at the pubs, eating fish and chips and all that other stuff, and got to go to his studio and do work in London. Like, we just some dudes from Houston, Texas that didn't know much of anything. There's millions of stories, man. Like, I still tell people, one of my biggest things I ever got to do is getting to go to Atlanta, Georgia, getting to go to Stankonia Studios. Oh, wow. With Killer Mike. My brother's done a lot of his production through the years. Got to go to also Patchwork Studios, and Patchwork is owned by an Atlanta Falcon at the time, and it's ridiculous how nice it is. But I remember we got picked up that day because we were staying at Bubba Sparks' house. At the time, Bubba Sparks,
Big artist.
Was big.
Bro.
Was big.
Yeah.
So Bubba Sparks, and what still, he was a huge artist, but he's a country boy.
Yeah.
And he stayed in Swanee, Georgia. I remember that, Swanee, Georgia. Oh, wow. And he picked us up to stay at his place, and he picked us up in a Chevrolet S10. And I still find that hilarious. It was the smallest vehicles.
Yeah.
Little small truck. And the biggest thing is he wanted to go get some chicken wings while he was driving. And he just, as we drove to Swanee, Georgia, he was eating those chicken wings, tossing them out the window.
Oh, man.
And it was right before he really, really blew. He was getting bigger. And we stayed at his house. And I remember waking up that morning, and he had ESPN Game Day on, and he didn't know they were about to play his song on Game Day, on College Game Day. And how big and how he freaked out. And he was like, I made it. I made it. And this dude was on the, College
really
Game
got
Day.
To see a lot. Yo,
yeah.
Before we get out of here, Paul Wall just dropped, what song is it? Sitting Sideways, where he's like, I'm on 5'9" South Lee, baby, holla at me.
Are you trying to ask when
he dropped the music video? It made it to BET.
Oh, are you talking about like the home invasion story? Oh, that's a story. So if you ever heard when Paul would always say, I'm on 5'9" South Lee, that's a 5900 block of South Lee. That is a real area in Houston. And truly, that's my boy, Goo U. That's his family's area. That's where they stay on 5'9" South Lee. It's hood. And that's Goo's spot. And it's at the time, Paul was on BET. He was on either not Rap City, 106 in Park. Yeah. 106 in Park. They were interviewing him. And he had a new medallion made by Johnny Dang, by TV Johnny. We call him, he's now Johnny Dang, but TV Johnny is what I know him by. When he had a little kiosk in Sharpstown Mall. Ooh. Now he's bigger than big.
I put up on him a couple times in the Galleria.
Yeah, he didn't have that. He used to have a kiosk in Sharpstown Mall. But Paul had and you may be able to look it up on YouTube, but he had looked like a drink cup. Yeah, which was a cup that was a necklace cup that was all gold, and I think it said 5900 or Paul Wall on it. But inside the cup there was a little top that was glass that you couldn't get. But inside of it were loose pink and like white diamonds. So when you turned it, it looked like drink. Yeah. So it's just like rolling. And after that, when he went home, he one evening. Somebody tried to kick door the house, and they did. And my boy Goo that was there had to.
He did what he had to do.
Did what he had to do.
Got him up out of there.
Got him out. Yep. And realized that he got him out, but he almost didn't walk out. Like it was very close to getting him. But after that, it was like, we say where we live, but it may be time we had a
time to move on
at
up.
A level that we had to move on up, and Paul was shortly after in some high rises in the Galleria, which shout
out Paul Wall,
good man, great family man,
absolutely
great family man, and his wife Crystal has if you're ever in Houston and you want to go get you some aerobic fitness going on, look up Crystal stuff. She gets it. You're gonna go work out. She got her own like little studio and everything. Go get it done. We can go on. We can one day do another.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Another one of these.
Yeah, we'll definitely do another one. And
because there's so much, man. And if I can.
And to all the listeners, all the viewers, if you want to hear more of these stories, if you're somebody like me that love the Third Coast movement, you just like ASAP Rocky, all you heard was Paul Wall, Mike Jones, Slim Thug on the radio. You're gonna want to hear from this man. So if you want to hear more stories, like, subscribe, comment, let us know that you want Brad back in the chair. Let me know.
I'll do it, man. And if I can, next time I have my brother in the city, I'll get him to come down and sit in the chair because I can tell stories, but he can tell stories. Like, at the end of the day, I was in the music side, but I did a lot of the business, and I got to go to school and make sure I got my education because that was the goal of what I wanted. But my brother got his, but he was, when I say in the trenches, he was in the trenches, and he got to see everybody when they were coming up. Like he did music on Cat Williams stuff, so telling stories about meeting Cat Williams and him having a dolphin skin bracelet. He tell the story about you go to his suite and he has he has a suite with a second bedroom, and you can see Cat sitting there, but he ain't coming out till his assistant says, "Mr. Williams, somebody else is here for you." And he's a cool dude. And there's just a lot of funny stories and a lot of just life stories we can tell, man. So I appreciate you let me speak, man.
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
this is going on, and I can't wait to see the other people that sit in your chair. This is gonna be something cool. Like you said, like, share, follow.
Like, share, follow, man.
Get us moving on this. It'll be fun. This is a good deal.
All right, y'all. Just like that, we gone.